Hi, everyone. Welcome to Supercharging Communications and Employee Engagement with Microsoft 365. I'm Kasia Krzoska. I'm a PM working on the Yammer team on live events and corporate comms, and this is
Sebastian Fouillade. I'm a PM in SharePoint working with Stream and Yammer to deepen the integration between the platforms.
And we have a packed agenda for you today. We're going to be talking a lot about, well, employee engagement. But before we dive into all of the nuances of the tech you should use and some of the strategies that we employ and that we've seen our customers employ, we want to dive into a little bit about, first of all, why employee engagement matters. Then we're going to be talking about the three core pillars: leadership connection, culture of inclusion, and workplace communication. So let's get started. So let's talk a little bit about the why behind employee engagement. And engaging your people today is more critical now more than ever. With our businesses evolving at a rapid pace and all of these changes, internal and really external, remote work, and competitive pressures, market realities, it's really affecting not just our bottom line and employee morale. It's really affecting the cohesion within our organizations, our productivity as a whole. And so helping your employees navigate all of these changes with all of this uncertainty in the air, with clear and effective communication is absolutely crucial. And so let's talk a little bit about that. So I think it goes without saying that employee engagement does matter, but I do want to dive into kind of the stats behind that and why. So employee engagement, at the end of the day, it's not just employee morale. Employee engagement really does equal profit. And although 15% of employees are engaged worldwide, over 70% of employees are engaged at the top performing companies. And engagement, as I mentioned, it is more than just morale. Organizations with engaged employees see 21% more profit in their business units. And so it really does make sense for every organization to be building a strategy around this. All right, so building a strategy around employee engagement sounds like a really daunting task. And you know what? The thing is, there are tons of processes that you can actually employ to make engagement just a foundational part within your culture. According to Gartner, the leading analyst on employee engagement, the key to an engaged workforce really starts with the right communication solution. So that's really tech and strategy. Over to you, Sebastian.
How companies engage with employees is critical. People's expectations and preferences are changing, and companies need to adapt. While good storytelling is still important to inspire employees, the explosion of content has resulted in employees wanting relevant content at the right time in the right place with less information noise. This isn't just about one-way communication. Employees want to feel heard, and they want to engage in a dialogue with their leadership and other employees. Modern communication engages and inspires people. It is a life cycle that starts with captivating storytelling produced on the canvas that supports simple or rich messages with videos and beautiful layouts. The stories are then targeted to reach the right employee at the right time in the right place. Conversations and communities bring to life the stories, creating a dialogue with and between your employees, empowering them and creating new stories on their own. And finally, as communication professionals, you need the ability to measure the impact of your communications to fine-tune your strategy moving forward. Based on our experience at Microsoft and with our customers, we've seen that successful modern communication strategies are anchored around three pillars: leadership connection, culture of inclusion, and workplace communication. And while people might refer to these pillars in different ways, these aspects are always at the core of great communication strategies. Let's see how Microsoft 365 can help you build a successful communication strategy around these pillars.
So the first pillar we're going to start with, hopefully this one is not a surprise. It's leadership connection. And leadership connection, it's absolutely crucial because we know that engagement, it starts at the top. We at Microsoft have seen firsthand the impact that clear, engaged, and authentic leadership has on our organization. And it makes sense. Leaders align employees around the mission, They build trust with employees, which is a critical driver in engagement. When leaders are aligned, it's easier to tap into what's top of mind within the organization, especially when you also align that with that two-way dialogue that really allows employees to feel connected, not just to each other, but to their leadership. And while there are many ways that Microsoft 365 can help you drive engagement and connection that is really powerful with your leader, let's talk about one of the most powerful ways that we've seen leadership connection executed, not just within Microsoft, but also with tons of customers that we work with. All right, so that core engagement strategy is really events. Company-wide events are one of the best ways to engage leadership with your organization. So not only are they very personal, do they allow for scale, but they're one of the best ways to allow employees to interact 2 ways in real time with your leadership. It's no secret that we here at Microsoft leverage live events quite heavily. Satya has prioritized nearly from the beginning, providing an ongoing cadence for live events. We run them in Yammer with our very open Q&A, but within the Microsoft Live Event suite, you can find so many ways to customize that. You can leverage Stream, Teams, embed the event in SharePoint with or without a Q&A. Really, the sky is the limit here. And live events are amazing because, as I mentioned, they scale well, but also they're perfect for employees that may have to watch them after the fact. So employees can revisit it both during and after, which is just really impactful when you're dealing with employees around the world. And that managed Q&A or open Q&A really allows attendees to engage with the presenters, the speakers, and that is a core part of that authentic leadership connection. And then finally, with the reporting that you get with live events, that really allows organizers to get a lot of insights into, are their live events working? Is the communication strategy working? So let's dive into how this looks like within Yammer, and you can get a taste of how we run live events with a quick demo. All right, so let's actually walk through the experience of what it would be like attending a live event as an employee. So let's pretend I'm Nestor and I've just clicked into Yammer where I'm going to see one of our many live event experiences. So this is actually how we run live events at Microsoft, some of the larger town hall events with Satya. But as I mentioned earlier, you can also view your live event in Stream and in Teams and even embed it into SharePoint, so many options. But let's go through this one. So on the screen here, you can see the event, dun, 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 is live. On the left-hand side, you can see the little live indicator. It's running in the Leadership Connection community. And then you can see that there's a banner at the top that's advertising this. So I'm just going to click into this. And you can see as the event loads, and I'm going to make sure we're muted so that way we don't have double the sound. But when the event loads, we have this new side-by-side experience that we're introducing in Yammer Live Events on the screen. So at the top, you can see the event organizer, Adele, is encouraging folks to post questions. And you'll see that our feed shows a mix of comments and questions. And as Nestor, I can reply, hey, Megan, go here. And we can pretend I'm linking something there and I can post that reply. And you'll see that the live event experience is really, really engaging. So as Nestor, I can watch what's happening on the screen, watch our CEO, Patty, speaking to us employees, and then also really easily post a question. So for example, maybe just one question mark. And I can just ask it into the feed and it's there available for everybody to see. So what you're seeing here is a very open conversational feed, but moderated Q&A will also be coming in the coming months. So that's a little teaser for all you folks out there. So we talked quite a bit in the demo that I just showed about the power of two-way communication and how Q&A, for example, in Yammer, allows for that really two-way communication between leaders and employees. But when we talk about that availability and that connection. It's no secret that when it comes to leadership connection, our leaders are also the folks that tend to be most strapped for time. And that's why when we think about leadership connection, I think it's really important that we consider this more of a team effort, because really the leadership team is a team. And so using tools that allow you to scale out the reach of a leader are really critical. And that can be done with the amazing delegation tools that we have available within the suite. So you can extend a leader's reach across all platforms by allowing delegates to speak on their behalf as well. So in SharePoint, you can include a post on behalf of the leader, really provide the richness of the leader's voice and tone and what they really believe in. In Outlook, many organizations today send emails on behalf of the leader. So that is a great way to extend the tone when it comes to emails. And then now in Q4, in Yammer, we'll be releasing a really exciting feature that allows you to post on behalf of leadership, where you can respond to some of those questions or comments that we just saw in our live event Q&A. So let's take a look at what that looks like in the live event Q&A now. All right, so let's talk about extending a leader's reach. We all know that Patty here as CEO is super busy, but that's why when we think about leadership, we really think in terms of the leadership team. And you can see that in the feed, there are tons of questions, some of which Patty might be addressing live, but there's also an opportunity for Patty or anybody from the team who represents Patty to respond on behalf of Patty. So this feature, that delegate access, is already readily available on features like Outlook, as we mentioned, and on SharePoint, and even Teams for delegate picking up of phone calls. But let's talk about what this might look like in Yammer. So here's Nestor complimenting the transparency within the organization, and I, as Megan, who is a delegate for Patty, can go in here and actually post on behalf of Patty. So I'm being asked, do I want to post on behalf of Patty in this community in general? I'm going to say yes, why not? I'm her delegate after all, and I'm going to respond to Nestor's comments. Thanks, Nestor. We definitely value this. All right, I'm going to post and take a look at that. Patty Fernandez responded to Nestor. What could possibly be more exciting than getting a post directly from your leader? And we know that with delegate access and other tools, that really enables that reach for leadership. And we're happy and excited to be introducing this next quarter in Yammer as well. So let's take a look at what this might look like within a leadership connection community. So go in here. I can again post as Patty. Yes, I want to continue posting as Patty in this community. And I'm going to thank everybody for joining us for this town hall. Thank you, Contoso, for joining me in our monthly town hall. Post. And you can see there's now a message here from Patty, which all employees can engage with and really builds that authentic one-to-one connection with Patty as their CEO.
Building a connection with your leadership team is an ongoing effort. A leadership community site can help you build a lasting, ongoing connection between leadership and employees. It can be easily built using our new SharePoint Leadership Connection template coming out later this year. And it provides a location where leadership can share their vision and drive alignment using videos, blogs, news posts, and more. A community where employees can converse with leadership and one another about your company, giving you a pulse on the organization, and a place to promote important upcoming events and provide highlights from previous events. Let's see how this comes together in a demo. Welcome to the Leadership Connection here at Contoso. This site brings the power of Yammer and SharePoint and news together to create an engaging, critical experience for our employees to connect with our leadership. It starts with a beautiful layout and then leverages the power of SharePoint News to give you the latest on everything happening around Contoso. Then video, live events, and recaps of live events is a critical part of our connection. We also make heavy use of videos in all our communication to engage with employees through live events, through highlights of previous events, and through training and important information. And finally, we're bringing the power of Yammer and all the richness of the Yammer experience right here in the leadership site, so that people can engage in that two-way dialogue with leadership. We also integrate with an event calendar that enables you to see all the important events that are coming up. And if you want to get started quickly, we've made it even easier to build your rich experience for your leadership connection site. Now, I created this site earlier today. This is the basic communication site template. But later this year, we're releasing the ability to apply site templates to this communication site. And you can see all the rich templates available to you. And today, we're looking at the leadership connection site templates. Details. This templates gives you a lot of functionality, as Yammer integrated, allows you to promote live events, as well as integrates right away with SharePoint News. So I want to use this template, and voila, in no time at all, your leadership communication site got converted in this beautiful leadership team site that incorporates SharePoint News, upcoming events, and Yammer conversation, as well as highlight of the teams, an updated navigation, and lots more coming later this year.
All right. So we talked about leadership connection and why it's important. So let's dive into the second pillar of employee engagement, which is a culture of inclusion. How can you create it, and why is it so crucial? So when it comes to engagement, we do know that engagement does start at the top, but it really continues with ongoing nurturing through that second pillar of culture of inclusion. And when it's nurtured properly, a culture of inclusion empowers employees to connect with one another on an ongoing basis and discover knowledge and find experts and really spark new ideas. And this is really empowering for the entire organization because it allows employees to be part of your culture of engagement. So doing your best to create a culture of open sharing and learning where people exchange interests, expertise, and ideas across the organization. Foster that self-serve version of knowledge discovery, really democratize it in many different ways, and encourage employees to find experts that could answer their questions and work together towards a common goal, really bridging the gap across organizations. All of that are some of the amazing things that you should focus on when it comes to building a culture of inclusion. So let's talk about one of the most powerful ways to cultivate a culture of inclusion, and that is really building and fostering organizations that have organic communities within them. So employee communities are a powerful way to drive inclusion. First of all, you give employees a tribe that they can be a part of. You help them belong by connecting them with a community, and then, related to that pillar of inclusion, also knowledge, because conversations do surface knowledge, and allowing employees to connect with each other but also discover knowledge is just such a powerful way to drive that inclusive foundational culture that you'll want within your organization. So let's talk about a great example of this. New hire onboarding is one of the best ways where you can really test out and help foster that engaged employee from day one. Start them off on the right foot by introducing them to other people and also introducing them to all of the content that they'll need to know in their journey as they join your organization. So let's walk through what that might look like, leveraging some of the tools that we have here within Microsoft 365.
Engaging with your employees is key. It allows them to feel value from day one and builds that two-way dialogue that we've seen increases engagement, which benefits the business. Here at Contoso, we've already built a community on using Yammer to engage with employees, but we want to take this a step further and bring together all the information and the content that is needed for employees to get started from day one. Not just documents, but checklists, understanding the diversity, the culture, everything that you want, and that, all that tribal knowledge that is important to you as an employee when you get started. So we're going to bring together Yammer and SharePoint. I already started this communication site on SharePoint, but it's not quite what I want. I mean, it's nice and all, but this is the same template for all the communication sites on SharePoint. I want something that is specific to new employees. and go to Site Templates. Check out the new employee onboarding template and use the template. And here you go. Here is the new Contoso employee site, which was quickly deployed using the new templates. But it's not just a front page for the site. We've also added the ability to add leadership information right in that site, meeting the leadership team using a rich experience. How to get started, again, including videos as a key way to communicate. An onboarding checklist that leverages the power of SharePoint lists. But the one thing that's missing, and that really I want to add, is discussions with employees. And this, we can use the power of SharePoint again to customize this template. Easily edit the page. Converts this section to a 2-column layout. And add the Yammer web part. Now, all I need to do is configure this web part to our new employee community. And republish the page. So you've seen that with a few clicks, you can have an amazing looking new Contoso employee site to get your employees started from day one, to get them engaged, to get them to see your culture, to see your diversity, and to engage with your community and engage with our employees. Right here, we've added Yammer. That was easy. That was a couple of clicks. And we're actually encouraging all our employees to use the power of video to present themselves, introduce themselves to our employees. And you can see here Alex introducing himself and Adele introducing herself. So very powerful tool, a critical piece for the culture of inclusion pillar.
Yes, and Sebastian, I'm so glad that you highlighted these videos, because videos are a really powerful and impactful way to drive engagement for employees. They really give employees a voice. Video is not only, visually more engaging, but it actually drives much higher retention. People remember 10% of what they hear, 20% of what they read, and 80% of what they see/watch. So allowing all employees and even encouraging them to leverage video to introduce themselves, to, share some wins, whatever the scenario is so valuable for engagement. And I will also put in a shameless plug there that video is powerful for all those different scenarios, but also another great way for leaders to engage.
Workplace communication is how you share news, updates, and stories to inform your organization. And in these times of remote work, it is more critical than ever. News allows you to create beautiful, compelling stories with consumer-grade design tools, which enable employees to read your posts on large and small screens from desktop to mobile phone. News posts can be published on a schedule and targeted at specific audiences using any attributes your organization has set up, such as location or group. News posts can be shared on your company intranet and feeds by email, Microsoft Teams, or Yammer. Employees can engage with them through reactions and discussions, creating news stories on their own. If you need to differentiate them so they stand out, Microsoft 365 supports organizational news. If you need to put them first and foremost ahead of other news, we enable you to boost their position based on several criteria. And with new news analytics capabilities coming out later this year, you get more insights to understand engagement and reach of your posts. There's more to news than we can cover in this session, so we encourage you to watch other sessions specifically on news. And because it is important for employees to easily access information across communication channels, we've deepened our integration between Microsoft Teams, Yammer, and SharePoint. This deeper integration leverages the strength of each platform to provide a more integrated solution for workplace communication. Coming later this year, you will be able to access Yammer communities within Microsoft Teams. And coming next year, you will be able to access your intranet straight from Microsoft Teams. You can already share news on your intranet via email. You will also be able to easily share to Yammer and Teams with richer experiences. And finally, later this year, we will be releasing a new SharePoint app bar to help you with global wayfinding and navigation for employees to find the most important links across the entire intranet and help them get back to their sites, content, and news. Welcome to The Landing. The Landing is Contoso's intranet portal. It plays a critical part in our workplace communication. It brings together news, content, tools, line of business applications, conversations, anything you need to start your day. And if you've seen The Landing before, like last year at Ignite, you'll notice a few different things. First, the SharePoint app bar. This bar on the left provides a cohesive navigation across your intranet. It enables employees to find their most frequent and followed sites, to get easy access to news, and access to their most recent files. This is a huge benefit that a lot of our customers have asked for. It's also available in Teams when you access the landing through Teams, which we'll be looking at later. You'll notice the global navigation here as well, but we've just added at Contoso, and we're excited, the ability to see this page in multiple languages: English, Italian, Japanese, and Spanish. Coming later this year, SharePoint will be able to support multi-languages capability to allow you to translate in multiple languages, making your employees across the world feel more included and valued when you talk in their language. Looking at the rest of the landing, we make heavy use of videos to promote previous town halls, as well as training and important pieces of information that employees should stay up to date on using videos. We make heavy use of SharePoint News, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. And we've integrated directly with Yammer in order to bring conversations right to the front page of our intranet. In this case, we're looking at an announcement on the Mark 8 roadmap, which everyone is excited about. The part I'm most excited about in the intranet site is the My Feed web part. For me, it helps me cut through all the information noise and start my day. It tells me about the meetings I might be missing, like right now, I should be in a roadmap review. But it also tells me about everything else that is happening in my social circle, about the content that my coworkers are working on that I should be knowing about. And in the future, early next year, it will be bringing in app mentions as well as suggested tasks. So really great tool for me to start my day. And let's get back to SharePoint News. And we have a lot to talk about. If you edit the page, you might be familiar with the SharePoint News part. This part is extremely powerful. It gives you control over the source of news that you want to show your employees, selecting specific sites, recent sites. It gives you control of the layout of the web part, as well as what to show on the web part. And you can even filter the news articles by keywords and target to specific audiences. You can organize your articles that are shown on the web part by pinning specific articles or letting them show up based on priority, recency, or boosting, which we'll be getting to in a second. So this is the power of the SharePoint News web part, but there's much more to SharePoint News. And let's look at an article, the Singapore building update, as an example. At Contoso, we are all excited about the new building that is coming up in Singapore. This is a big investment for our company, and we want to make sure as many of our employees are engaged with the conversation around the building. Now, I wrote this article with Patty on behalf of Patty. And if I edit the page, it was actually really easy to write the article. And we know she's a very busy person and her time is limited. And she reviewed the article with me, we posted it, and now everyone is able to see this coming from Patty and engage. I'll discard my changes because I didn't really change anything. But again, it's really important that we get as many employees to see this news post. So coming later this year, we're adding the boost functionality to your news article. This functionality will allow you to specify how long you want this news post to be shown for. It could be until the news post is viewed by each employee, until a specific number of impressions is reached, or for a specified amount of time. And it could be that after that time, you have another news update or something more relevant, or it becomes irrelevant. And you can also select the boost order of your different articles. A very powerful feature in order to control your message, which is critical for corporate communication. In addition to boost, we'd like to announce that later this year, you'll be able to get much more advanced page analytics to understand how people are engaging and reading your articles. This is accessible through the social bar at the bottom of the article. These new page analytics give you insights on the viewers, the trends, and how much time each user has spent reading your article. Now, in this case, people are obviously really engaged, spending 18 minutes at a time reading every single detail of your news article. That's when you know you have a good story. You can also see, using this heat map view, when people are accessing your news the most. So very powerful if you want to understand how people engage with the information you put out there. But that's not all. If you really want to engage with people, we've improved the ability to share this news with others. Coming later this year, people will be able to more easily share news updates to Yammer and Teams. Sharing to Yammer takes advantage of the full richness of Yammer. In this case, while we could just send the link into a Yammer conversation, we want to do more. We want to engage with the new employees that have just joined Contoso and are curious about the building. We want to know how they feel about the update and what is their favorite aspect of the building update. Now, of course, we could praise, we could ask a question, but the part I really want to do right now is do a poll. What is your favorite feature of the new building? Is it the green construction? The green spaces? Oh, the green paint. Now we do like green at Contoso, as you can see. Ask the question. This is posted directly in the Yammer community for new employees. Right there, voila. In my case, I like the green construction. You've now seen how to use SharePoint News and an intranet to boost up your workplace communication strategy. But we wouldn't be able to talk about workplace communication without mentioning Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams is a critical tool nowadays to help employees connect with one another, connect with their teams, and connect with their organizations. Coming out next year, we are integrating SharePoint into Microsoft Teams more deeply so that any employees can easily access the intranet right from the Teams client. Here on the left navigation, you'll see access to the Contoso landing page, our intranet that we have set up as our home site. It gives you the same navigation that you're familiar with on your intranet, great access to the information architecture of your intranet, your sites, and your news. But SharePoint isn't the only thing we're integrated with Microsoft Teams. We're also making it easy for people to integrate Yammer into Teams. Here, as Megan, I can access all my communities right from Teams. Teams announcements will also be able to come through Teams, so I don't ever have to leave the Teams client to access the information I need and to engage with communities, employees, and leadership. Everything under one roof.
So there you have it. We've walked you through not just why engagement is so crucial, but also the 3 pillars that we believe can really make an impact on engagement within your organization. So just to quickly recap, those are leadership connection, where employing tools to engage your leader with your organization are absolutely crucial. Culture of inclusion, where cultivating the right environment for employees to not just connect with one another, but also to connect with knowledge by leveraging tools like communities and hubs on SharePoint. Those are going to make a huge impact. And then finally, workplace communication, where you can bring it all together and effectively share news, help employees be a part of the ongoing conversations that they have with each other, but also with you. So we hope that you've learned a ton. And most of all, we hope that you've been able to take away some actionable steps that you can employ within your organization to drive that really, really crucial engagement. So get started today.